1-855-GET-LEGAL. 2689 Commons, Dayton.
Hi, this is Michael, your service manager at Dave Arbogast Buick GMC in Troy, Ohio. I am inviting you to give us an opportunity to earn your business. We have expanded our hours to better meet your needs. We are now open until 6 p.m. during the week and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. We service all makes and models. We offer convenient shuttle service as well as pickup and delivery. Please visit us on the web at arbogastbuickgmc.com or in person. Exit 69 on I-75. Look for the giant American flag. I hope to see you soon.
I'm Roger from Columbus. I've lived in Ohio all my life. Owning your home is a cornerstone of the American dream. But for seniors, property taxes keep going up and are costing us everything we've worked for. They're even making it impossible for my grandkids to afford their first homes. Vivek Ramaswamy believes when you own your home, you're in charge. As governor, he'll roll back property taxes to levels from before the end of the pandemic. It's a practical plan that will put thousands of dollars back in your pocket next year while maintaining strong education and dependable police and fire. Ohio's politicians have ignored this crisis for too long. But Vivek Ramaswamy isn't a politician. He's an entrepreneur, and he's ready to fight for you. Ohio needs a leader who makes your life more affordable. That's Vivek Ramaswamy.
Lower costs, bigger paychecks, better schools. Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
Paid for by Vivek Ramaswamy and Rob McCauley for Ohio.
When traffic slows you down, pain can make the ride feel even longer. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief, so you can put pain in the rear view. Use as directed.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you in live here on a Tuesday, the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410, the number to call and jump in on the conversation. All right, a lot to get into here today. The Reds just keep on winning, and based on some comments from ownership of the Cleveland Browns, the Browns might just keep on losing. MLB, Reds, NFL, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, loaded show for you here today. On a Tuesday, like I said, lots of different ways you can get involved in the show, 937-518-1410. You can also watch live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Again, appreciate it. Do what you got to do. So let's get into it. The Reds just keep on winning. And I tell you what, we talked about this yesterday. The way that the Reds looked on opening day was very frustrating. It was kind of very deflating. It was very demoralizing. It was a kick in the gut because we wanted to buy into this team. We wanted to believe that this team was going to be a different looking team this year, despite the fact that, well, when you look at the backs of the names and a lot of the jerseys, it's basically the same team as last year. Good team last year, playoff team last year, but a team that had a lot of deficiencies. And I'm not saying that this team doesn't have deficiencies. They definitely have deficiencies, but I do feel like I am watching a different team right now. I do feel like we are watching a team that, even though we're only 4 games in, we're 1 series and 1 game into series number 2 in, I feel like this team just has a different poise, a different composure, a different vibe, a different feel. This team looks good. You beat a good Red Sox team to kick off the season, a Pirates team that is much improved from a season ago, but let's not sit here and overreact. They are 1-3. All right, even with them being improved, I heard last night John Sadak and Barry Larkin both mention it. The thing that's interesting is this is a Pirates team that is very much improved from a season ago, but the Reds are also very much improved from a season ago. So they kind of both moved up kind of at the same time, keeping the same distance between them. The Reds are still a better team than the Pirates, but I'm not comparing the Reds to the Pirates. Hell, I don't even care about comparing the Reds to the 2000, and 26 Boston Red Sox. What I care about is comparing this year's Reds to last year's Reds. And do the Reds look different enough? Do they look good enough? Do they look like a team that has satisfied you early, only 4 games in? 158 games to go, including tonight's game. Game 2 between the Reds and the Pirates. But I want to open up the show with reaction to last night. We got a chance to see Chase Burns because in the absence of Hunter Green, we know that Andrew Abbott is their number one. We know that he is their ace. No Nick Lodolo. It does sound like the Reds could get him back on that second road trip, which will be in Miami coming up here in a few weeks. So in the absence of Hunter Green, won't get Nick Lodolo back for a few more series. It's Andrew Abbott, and to me, it's Chase Burns. I know that, they put Brady Singer in that 2 spot within the rotation. But I think what we saw from last night from Chase Burns is pretty remarkable. Chase Burns goes 5 innings last night, gives up 1 hit in 5 innings, strikes out 7, did walk 3 batters. But in his 5 innings of work, gives about 78 pitches. One thing I have noticed is Terry Francona being very, very careful with how long and how many pitches he's like. People talk about, how long into a game Terry Francona is letting his pitchers go. It's not about how long into a game as far as innings wise. It's the pitch count. And I think 80 seems to be that sweet spot number that Terry Francona and company is keeping an eye on. But last night was the least amount of pitchers that Francona has used 4 games into the season. Obviously, Chase Burns goes 5, gives up 1 hit in 5 innings, striking out 7 on 78 pitches. As far as that's concerned, Franco, the debut for Franco with the Cincinnati Reds, or Franco, I'm sorry. He goes just under 2 innings. He does give up 3 hits, but no runs. The Reds shut out the Pirates last night 2-0. Graham Ashcraft comes in. He goes a little over an inning. He strikes out 3 batters, doesn't give up a hit. How about Connor Phillips? He comes in last night. Now, he did walk a few batters. He made it a little interesting, but he ends up striking out 1. He gets all the 3 outs that the Reds needed, and Connor Phillips picks up his first save as a Red. Everything we've seen so far, 4 games in, the pitching has looked phenomenal. And the pitching has looked phenomenal without one of the bigger additions in Ferguson. They went out and got a dominant lefty, a very good lefty. Excuse me. Sorry. The Reds went out and got Ferguson, a very, very good lefty in the offseason. He starts the season on the IL. Hunter Green is your ace, your number 1 pitcher. He's on the IL. Nick Lodolo is your true number 2 pitcher, a dominant lefty. Again, 2 of your lefties are on the IL to start the season. You're missing 3 really good pieces from your entire pitching staff, and yet the pitching hasn't looked like an issue one tiny bit. Pitching, and more pitching, the identity of the Cincinnati Reds. This is why when people were getting very frustrated and upset with the Reds in the offseason because they weren't being aggressive enough, they were doing making a lot of moves based on the pitching and the bullpen and this, that. I always compared when a team is loading up or when they're leaning into updating their bullpen in the offseason, it's kind of like the trenches in football. When your team has a lot of needs at skill positions, but yet they're spending their offseason plugging holes in the offensive line, it's not a sexy offseason. There's no moves that are going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside until you get to the season. A couple weeks into the season, you realize, oh, man, our offensive line is significantly better. Man, I'm actually pretty happy about what we did the offseason. That's kind of how I feel about the Reds pitching. They didn't make any sexy moves outside of the addition of Eugenio Suarez. And that's not like a small addition. That's a huge addition, right? But, they leaned into pitching. Pitching was the identity of the Reds last year. Pitching was their strength last year, but yet they leaned into pitching this offseason, making that a point of emphasis. And it wasn't a sexy offseason. But as we sit here 4 games in right now, I got to tell you, all right, I'm glad that they did. I didn't get all warm and fuzzy inside when they were adding some of these weapons to the bullpen. I didn't get all warm and fuzzy inside when they were adding depth to this pitching staff. But I'm glad that they did. I think Nick Krall, again, it's a lot of maybe a slight overreaction. We are 4 games in with 158 games to go. But they knew what they were doing with how they were constructing this roster. They knew they had a limited budget. You could be mad at that budget. I'm not mad at Nick Krall for that budget because it's not Nick Krall's budget. It's Nick Krall's budget to work with. And with the budget that Nick Krall had to work with, I think that the depth to the pitching, I think adding Eugenio Suarez, I think what the Reds did, what Nick Krall did, I feel pretty damn good about it 4 games in. I love what the Reds have done thus far. I love how they've looked 4 games in because it's looked the same every night. They've won 3 of their first 4 games and had a chance to win game one on opening day because of pitching. Pitching will continue to be who the Reds are. It'll continue to be what they lean on moving forward, and it's going to be all about the offense and how it complements that moving forward as well. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home for Cincinnati Reds baseball. The Reds get their third win of the season last night, off to a 3-1 start, tied for first with the Brewers sitting atop the NL Central. The Reds get shut out 3-0 on opening day, but since then they win games 2 and 3 against the Red Sox, 6-5 game 2, 3-2 in game 3, and then a 2-0 shutout win last night in the series opener against the Pirates at Great American Ballpark. Game 2 against the Pirates coming up later on tonight. Pittsburgh Pirates in town, 1-3 on the season, 6:40 the first pitch, 6:10 pregame coverage begins, and we'll see Brendan Williamson, the lefty, get the start tonight for your Reds. Bubba Chandler will take the rubber for, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates. So something to keep an eye on coming up later on tonight. Again, this is game 5 of the season. Brendan Williamson holding down that last spot in the rotation. And then, of course, we'll have a chance tomorrow in the closeout game between the Reds and the Pirates. We'll get a chance to see the second start to the season for Andrew Abbott. That's going to be a 12:40 first pitch tomorrow. Andrew Abbott against Paul Skeens. How about that? All right. Step away for a few moments. 937-518-1410. I've unlocked the phone lines. The text line is open as well. Pitching, and more pitching. I love what the Reds have done in the offseason when it comes to this rotation and this bullpen, and I love what they've done to start 3-1, taking care of business against the Red Sox and have a chance to win their second straight series. Game 2 against the Pirates coming up later on tonight. How we feeling about the Reds? We'll pick up at this when we come back. Game 2 coming up tonight. More of the Justin Kinner Show next.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Drivers 50 and over can count on the Hartford Auto Insurance for protection that brings peace of mind. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. Provided by the Hartford Insurance Group, Inc.
Gem City Water. We're a local veteran-owned company that offers affordable reverse osmosis systems and installs them for free. Our water is tastier, healthier, and eco-friendlier. Visit gemcitywater.com for more info.
The next 30 seconds could save you hundreds on your car insurance. At The Hartford, we're passionate about your protection. If you're 50 or over, AARP insurance from The Hartford gives you benefits that really matter. And you can save $597 when you switch. How's that for a little peace of mind? Visit trusthartford.com today. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. The Hartford Insurance Group, Inc. pays royalty fees to AARP for the use of its intellectual property. AARP and its affiliates are not insurers. Savings vary.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Every now and then you find a deal where you get more and pay less. Now that's a good deal. That's Straight Talk Wireless on Verizon's 5G network. Find it exclusively at Walmart and straighttalk.com.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Every day on the show, because it's so easy to be negative in all sports coverage, of course, but we got to give one positive and one negative about your Cincinnati Reds every day. Because we're not going to pretend that the negatives don't exist, but I don't want to do a negative-only show. So every day on the show for the remainder of the season, there's 158 games remaining, at least in the regular season. We're hoping that there's more. But after every game, we, of course, start the show with recap of the Reds, and then, of course, giving our thumbs up and thumbs down. One thumbs up, one thumbs down, one positive, one negative from what we saw from the Reds, whether it be, a culmination of games 1 through 4 to this point, a positive and a negative, or just from last night's game. So that's how we're going to get this part of the show started as far as that goes. We are 4 games in, and the Reds are 3-1, and they're tied with the Brewers at the top of the NL Central. You don't win anything for being in first place 4 games into the regular season, but way too many times we've seen the Reds get off to very sluggish starts, and then by the time they do start to pick it up, they have to dig themselves out of a hole. It's kind of nice seeing the Reds kind of get off to a start that you could be proud of. And I don't think that these are fluky wins. They are winning the way we expected the Reds to win, which is with pitching and complimentary at-bats. And the Reds have gotten complimentary at-bats from various talents on this roster, of course. We talked at length yesterday just about Sal Stewart and the dominant start to the career that he has had. Another day with a hit and scoring a run. He drew a couple walks yesterday. Sal Stewart finds ways to contribute and get things done. So I want to start with the negative to get the negative out of the way. Every day, again, on the show, we do a negative, we do a positive. The negative about the Reds right now, I don't know if I'm breaking my own rules. I will say this. The reason I'm going to do kind of 2 here is because, one, we don't expect a lot out of offensively, right? Ke'Bryan Hayes has had 9 at-bats already to start the season. We knew that the Reds traded for Ke'Bryan Hayes from the Pittsburgh Pirates a season ago. Defensively, the best defensive third baseman in baseball, or at least top 3 defensive baseman, top 3 defensive third baseman in baseball. But as good as he is defensively, he is that poor offensively. He has had 9 plate appearances and 0 hits in 4 games to start this season. Now, he has drawn a walk. He has scored a run. And I will give him this. He doesn't strike out. He's 0 for 9, and every single one of those 9 at-bats, he has put the ball in play or drawn a walk. He puts the bat on the ball. He just doesn't put the ball into an open spot on the field, and that's the problem. So the reason I'm kind of using him in a little short window for my negative is because it's hard to put him at the top of my negative list when, Ke'Bryan Hayes isn't playing well offensively. Well, what did you expect? Ke'Bryan Hayes wasn't the guy that we looked at coming into the season as a guy that was going to be great offensively. Anything you get offensively from him is a cherry on top because of how good he is defensively, and that he has been. Here's my concern. My big negative, it's a culmination of the 4 games right now, but we saw it really in last night's game as well. TJ Friedl is your leadoff hitter. You know, there's so much pressure that we put on Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz. Matt McClain, an 0 for 4 night after a solid start. That was his worst game thus far, 4 games in. But, you know, TJ Friedel last night, 0 for 4. TJ Friedel last night, 0 for 4, but he's not just 0 for 4 last night. He's had 17 at-bats. He's hitting 118 on the season, 17 at-bats, and he has struck out 7 times. He is 2 for 17 on the season. He has had 2 total bases, no extra base hits, a couple singles, and he's only drawn 1 walk. Hitting 118 on the season and an 0 for last night. My problem is I'm not going to overreact to a 4-game last night with the strikeout. McClain 0 for 4, right? Ke'Bryan Hayes 0 for 2 last night. You know, he did draw a walk, but the bottom line is the Reds have to get more from the leadoff hitter. We're going to put so much pressure on Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz and talk about how these guys have to produce and they have to contribute. Well, when you're batting in that leadoff spot, that's the most important spot. You're going to set that tone. You're going to get on base, and you're going to allow the good hitters behind you to advance you, move you over, drive you in. And when Friedel's not getting on base, and he's not, I mean, his on-base percentage is sitting at 167 right now, 118 average. 2 for 17 on the season. That is unacceptable from your leadoff hitter. We're 4 games in. Sounds a little harsh. But if I'm going to sit here and drool over Sal Stewart for his dominant 4-game start, I think it's okay to be a little concerned about a not-so-dominant 4-game start for the likes of your leadoff hitter and TJ Friedel. And the problem I have with it is you have TJ Friedel, the leadoff hitter, and Ke'Bryan Hayes, you know, hitting in the 9 spot. I mean, to go from your, you know, Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's 0 for 10 or 0 for 9, hitting at the bottom of your order, to go right back to the top of the order for a guy that's 2 for 17, it's almost like having an extension of the bottom of your order. You can't have it. And you can't overreact and tinker with the lineup too much right now, only 4 games in. But the Reds are 3-1. They're winning games. Their pitching has looked solid, even without 3 of their top pitchers who started the season on the IL. But yeah, that's my positive and my negative. My negative, of course, is Ke'Bryan Hayes and TJ Friedel. Just horrific starts offensively, just not contributing. Again, this team is not that strong to begin with. And, you know, I understand when Ke'Bryan Hayes isn't producing, he's not expected to. But Friedel's expected to, especially when you are whenever you're sitting at the top of the order like that. I expect a little bit more. We'll see as far as that's concerned. Let me go to the X machine. I don't even know if the lineup is out for tonight. Again, I like to keep track of to see if any early season adjustments are made. Yeah, the lineup is out for tonight. Came out about an hour ago, half hour ago. TJ Friedel leading it off at the top of the order. You know, with Williamson, you know, making the start tonight, the back half or the back end of that rotation before you go back to Andrew Abbott, set up Andrew Abbott and Paul Skeens for tomorrow. Tonight's a big game. But your lineup for tonight, all right, between the Reds and the Pirates, since it's available, TJ Friedel will lead things off, bat first, and get the start in center field. Batting second and starting at second is Matt McClain. Getting the start at short, batting third is Ellie De La Cruz. At first base, batting cleanup, Sal Stewart. The designated hitter batting fifth is Eugenio Suarez. Batting sixth and in left field is Will Benson. In right field and batting seventh is Noelvi Marte, back in the order here tonight. And batting eighth, the backup catcher, Jose Trevino. And batting ninth, who we just talked about, is Ke'Bryan Hayes. One more time, your lineup for tonight for the Reds as they look to take their second straight series with the Game 2 win tonight against the Pirates. Friedel, McClain, De La Cruz, your 1, 2, and 3 hitters. Your 4, 5, and 6 hitters belong to Stewart, Suarez, and Benson. 7, 8, and 9, Marte, Trevino, and Hayes. I'm a big Trevino guy. When the Reds got him last year from the Yankees and then gave him that 3-year, $15 million extension, 5 years, $5 million per. I thought that was a great get. I thought Trevino was a very solid, reliable backup catcher last year. So much to the point to where I felt like, you know, the Reds could have tinkered with the idea of potentially trading away Tyler Stevenson if they wanted to. Speaking of Tyler Stevenson on the season is another problem that I'm starting to be a little bit concerned about. All right. He's played in 3 games. He's had 9 at-bats, and he's only drawn 1 walk. He struck out a couple times, but Tyler Stevenson's 0 for 9. There was a point where Tyler Stevenson was trending to being one of the top catchers in baseball, and right now, I'm not even sure if he's the top catcher on his team. and that's very aggressive, probably a little bit over the top. But something has to change with him too. I mean, him hitting in the bottom of the order, this was one of the Reds' power hitters a few years ago, and now they're not getting much contribution from him at all. It's not as if that he's an old, aged veteran. He's 29 years old. But not a good start for him this season as well. But a lot of guys who are off to hot starts, there's way too many guys off to cold starts, and that's going to have to turn around, and maybe that happens coming up later on tonight. Scott Campbell, hope you're well. Scott Campbell tuning in on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, saying, let's go Reds, let's go. Yes, I mean, they are 3-1, sitting atop the division right now with the Brewers, and they got a divisional opponent tonight in the Pirates. Ron Howard, Ron, hope you're doing well. Ron messages into the show in the chat. It's very nice to see some solid pitching. Their bats are averaging just under 3 runs in 4 games, early but concerning. Ron, here's why I don't think it's concerning. I think we knew that the offense was going to be just kind of average. And I think that the Reds have been kind of average offensively. You know, we saw the home run and the power bat from Suarez win them a game already. All right, we've seen Sal Stewart, and I will say, you know what, Ron, I'll give you this. Now that I think about it, because we didn't know what to expect with Sal Stewart. If you take Sal Stewart's contributions away, this team's been actually pretty damn abysmal offensively. Now I'm going back into my negative trap. But Ron, you got me thinking. I think you're right. It is a little bit of a concern. They're averaging about 2.75 runs per game. And if you take the contributions from Sal Stewart out, not that you could do that, but let's just be clear, coming into this season, there was not a lot of additions made to the offensive side of this lineup because I think there was a lot more expected of TJ Friedl, Tyler Stevenson, and guys like that. But Ke'Bryan Hayes being as bad as he has 4 games in, TJ Friedl being as bad as he's been 4 games in, Stevenson hasn't got a hit yet. To have so many guys that have not contributed, I don't even think we've seen the best of Elly De La Cruz. Matt McClain's coming off of an 0 for 4 performance from last night. I'm not concerned only because I think we saw last year that this wasn't a very good offensive team. I am surprised that this team is not a little bit more aggressive offensively, but it's hard to be aggressive when you can't get guys on base and when you have so many guys who are off to a cold start 4 games in. We'll see if that lineup changes tonight. But Sal Stewart has been their saving grace. Sal Stewart, the rookie, who was one of the favorites to win Rookie of the Year coming into the year, very good chance that he's setting the tone for that. Sal Stewart hitting .667 4 games in. A couple RBIs, a home run, but, 3 or more hits. He was 3 for 4 on opening day. 2 or more hits in every game except last night, but he was 1 for 2 last night, but he drew 2 walks. He drew 2 walks in game 3 against Boston, but was 2 for 2 at the plate, scored a run, extra base hit. He drew a walk in game 2 against the Red Sox, and he was 2 for 4 in that game with the home run. And then, of course, on opening day, had 2 extra base hits, was 3 of 4. He has his thumbprint and an impact on every game this far. If you take Sal Stewart's production away, I don't know who the second best offensive player has been this far because no one's been beyond impressive. Matt McClain hasn't. Matt McClain's looked better than last year. But again, McClain hasn't been out of this world great. TJ Friedl, not been good. Suarez does have a home run, but Suarez is hitting 188 to start. It's not like he's hitting the leather off the ball by any means. Will Benson's been okay, but he's a utility guy. So the Reds are 3-1, and that's without getting any major contributions offensively, and that's with 3 of their top pitchers starting the season on the IL. Whether, of course, Hunter Green won't be back till July, could see Nick Lodolo back by the Miami series, and not really sure what the diagnosis is yet, and the prognosis is when it comes to the lefty out of the bullpen that they acquired in the offseason in Ferguson. We'll see what's going on there. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We talked about the lineup. Williamson will be on the mound coming up here later on this evening, and we'll have that game for you right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 6:10 coverage begins with the 6:40 first pitch. More of the Justin Kinner Show when we come back.
Describing the delicious flavor of Lee's new famous wrap is tough, but we figured we'd give it a shot.
Imagine crispy, golden, fried to perfection chicken, drizzled with bold, peppery, beautifully balanced famous sauce, resting on a plush bed of succulent lettuce and sprinkled with cheese. It's like ordering delicious with a side of exquisite.
In other words, it's awesome. The famous wrap with new famous sauce. Only at Lee's. Famous for a reason.
CenterPoint Energy, Columbia Gas, Duke Energy, and Enbridge Gas want you to dig safely. It's easy to do, and it's the law. Contact Ohio 811 every time you dig.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Get a premium finish with less odor and fumes for your painting project with Rust-Oleum's low odor spray paint. It provides a long-lasting, durable finish, making it perfect for indoor or outdoor projects. Save big on Rust-Oleum spray paints now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Some stare at the horizon, others chase it. Introducing Cheyenne, a Western fashion brand for women raised on wide open spaces, rushing wind, and a steady heartbeat. Guided by a timeless country spirit, Cheyenne offers Western wear and fashion pieces with a curated collection of performance boots and clothing fit for your next adventure. Cheyenne, exclusively available at Boot Barn stores nationwide and at Cheyenne.com. Cheyenne, raised this way.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
Some stare at the horizon, others chase it. Introducing Cheyenne, a Western fashion brand for women raised on wide open spaces, rushing wind, and a steady heartbeat. Guided by a timeless country spirit, Cheyenne offers Western wear and fashion pieces with a curated collection of performance boots and clothing fit for your next adventure. Cheyenne, exclusively available at Boot Barn stores nationwide and at Cheyenne.com. Cheyenne, raised this way.
Ready to celebrate? Hop into Easter festivities with everything you need at Target. First, get ready for your special occasion with 25% off stylish looks. With spring vibes, vibrant colors, and fresh florals, you'll find outfits that match everyone's style. Then, fill up their baskets with endless joy. From select Easter plushies to fun toys they'll love at 20% off. Don't miss out. Make this Easter unforgettable at Target.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can stay safe on the field.
For mentoring my coaches, so they can be the best role models for me.
For coordinating transportation, so I can get focused for the big game.
For helping us develop character and learn lessons that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you to our AD for always creating a positive experience for us. We'll never forget it.
From all of us at the NIAAA, thank you to every athletic administrator in Ohio for all you do to enrich the lives of your students. It does not go unnoticed. This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Cat Williams is going to be at the Nutter Center on Friday night. Giving away tickets, 937-518-1410. Text comedy to 937-518-1410 if you're interested in winning a pair of tickets to see Cat Williams at the Netter Center coming up this Friday. Text comedy to be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets. So take advantage of that now. Comedy, 937-518-1410. All right. I'm going to wrap up the Reds talk, and then I want to transition over to the Cleveland Browns and the NFL. The Browns, the talk of owners' meetings for, I don't know if all the right reasons, but reasons nonetheless. But as we wrap up the Reds. So I was talking about, again, every day on the show, a lot of negatives, yes, but a lot of positives. And there's a lot of positives when you're 3-1 and off to a great, start. I think the fact that this team being without three of their top pitchers, no Nick Lodolo, no Hunter Green, Ferguson, all three of those pitchers starting the season on the IL, and yet their pitching still looks dominant. That's something to feel really good about, because you look at that Dodgers lineup, like, I don't know what the Reds have. I don't know what their ceiling is, but if you want any chance of being able to upset a team like the Dodgers or any team, you have to have the pitching, because we know the offense for the Reds is not good enough to go bat to bat, toe to toe with teams like that. But if the Reds have the pitching to slow down the offense and the bats of power teams like the Dodgers, it puts you in a position to have a shot. The Reds will never be able to spend to the point where they load up their lineup unless they develop that lineup. But because there is good, solid pitching, bargain pitching out there, the Reds, because they've drafted well and developed well, and they don't have a lot of expensive pieces in that rotation or bullpen, they were able to financially lean into leaning into the bullpen and loading it up more. And I think that was their mentality. It's like, hey, we can go spend a ton of money on a couple of bats and be very vulnerable pitching-wise. And even with a couple of bats, it's not like we'll be a top 10 offensive lineup in baseball. Or we can just lean into the pitching even more and be an elite pitching staff with an average on a good day lineup and just hope that some of the young guys take major steps forward. So I was very concerned because Tyler Stevenson has been horrendous to start the season, only 4 games in. All right. He has not contributed at all. TJ Friedel has been not very good at all in the leadoff spot, only 4 games in. Ke'Bryan Hayes, we expect him to not be very good, right? Like as far as offensively goes, even though he's a very good defensive third baseman. You go up and down the lineup, and, Ellie has not been great. I mean, he's hitting 204 games in. All right. You look at Stevenson, as I mentioned, Will Benson's been solid. I mean, he's a utility guy. Spencer Steer, he hasn't contributed at all. There's been nothing there. Like, I don't know how the Reds are 3-1. Let me rephrase that. I know how the Reds are 3-1. It's pitching. I don't know how they're winning games, even with the pitching, because the offense has been so bad. If you take Sal Stewart's offensive production off the table, this might be the worst offensive stretch. All right, this might be the worst 4-game stretch to start the season offensively for any team in baseball. But yeah, here we are. That's how good the pitching has been. Now, we're live on the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page. Scott Campbell says, while your points are valid, unless something goes sideways, I'm holding off any concerns until we get through April. If they can get through that healthy and more than a few games over 500, then things could get exciting. How will it get exciting? How will they're averaging 2.75 runs per game, 4 games in. I know it's a weird argument to make so early. But here's where I'm not on the same page as you, Scott, because you're saying, well, my points are valid. You're holding off any concerns until we get through April. What is it that you're wanting to see come April? Right? Like, this lineup was bad last year. The only difference in this lineup this year is, of course, Eugenio Suarez and Sal Stewart. And Sal Stewart's been elite. Suarez is swinging the bat, already with the home run, won them the game against the Red Sox. But you're going to need a lot more than just Sal Stewart and Eugenio Suarez. And you're saying, well, let me wait till April. But who in this lineup have you seen enough of? This is the same lineup. We've seen a lot of these same guys for years now. And every year we do the same thing. Well, we're waiting for this guy. We're waiting for this guy. We're waiting for this guy. Offensively, I'm concerned. They won last night. The headlines, hey, they shut out the Pirates in a 2-0 win. I saw the Reds only scored 2 runs. That's what I saw. Now, that's me being negative, of course, but that's what I saw. Hey, the Reds beat the Red Sox 3-2. They hold the Red Sox to 2 runs. You only scored 3. They did put up 6 runs. They did beat the Red Sox. That was the most impressive win, but you already got shut out. You've scored. You've been shut out 3-0. Now you've won 2-0, and you've won 3-2. Again, I'm not mad. They're 3-1. But I get the take of we're going to wait till April. I promise you, when we get to April, which is tomorrow. All right. So you're saying, well, you want to wait till tonight? I don't know. This lineup's making me a little bit nervous. I expected more in the early goings from now veterans. TJ Friedel's not young. Tyler Stevenson is not young. Right? Ke'Bryan Hayes is not young. Ellie De La Cruz, we got to stop with the talking about him like he's some kind of project or whatever. Like he's a guy that I expect to go out there and contribute, make plays. And last night he got on base. Last night Ellie was, he was solid. Last night he did what he needed to do. That's in position to go out and get a win. The pitching continues to be the De La Cruz. 1 for 3. Did draw a walk. Only struck out once. But again, was a factor in that one last night. So, no, I know I'm being a little too aggressive. I'm being, whatever. But there it is. Scott Campbell says, they haven't hit the road yet. The weather is going to change. We haven't seen enough of this lineup yet. Yes, some players are the ones that were on the roster last year, but give them a month to get into a rhythm. Scott, you're not making any sense. Scott, you said they haven't hit the road yet. Exactly. Where it's tougher to hit. You're saying the weather is going to change. It's been beautiful out. The coldest weather we experienced was, Saturday? Opening day was beautiful. Sunday was beautiful. Last night's weather was beautiful. And you're playing at home. I'm not saying there's no way in hell that it changes over 158 games moving forward, but I don't think I'm crazy or negative for looking at these guys who are playing the exact same way that they played last year offensively. Yeah. I know, and Scott goes on to say, yes, some players are the ones that were on the roster last year, but give them a month through April to get into a rhythm. What does a rhythm look like with these guys? I don't know what a rhythm looks like with these guys. It's hard to get into a rhythm. I mean, Matt McClain was so bad last year, monster spring, average start. Tyler Stevenson has not been relevant in a long, long time. Ellie is so inconsistent. We thought last year was the quad, but he's looking very similar to what he was last year. Does he still have a quad injury? I don't know. I don't think so. Unless they're going to make up some other phantom injury to justify the inconsistencies and just the not, who knows? I'm hoping that I'm setting myself up for a big offensive outburst tonight so I can come on the show tomorrow and say, yeah, I was wrong. My bad. But the Reds open the season with the series win against the Red Sox and have a chance to do it again here tonight against the Red Sox. So there you go. Deb reached, and again, by the way, you can reach out to the show via text if you can't call in, or of course you can watch the show on Facebook and comment in the chat. But Deb says, come on, Justin, as long as we score one more than the other team, it's a win. Relax. As far as that goes. Look, I am relaxed. I was talking about I can't believe. I mean, I guess it's a backhanded compliment that I'm giving. I just can't believe this team is 3-1. I can't believe that they beat the Red Sox with how bad the offense has been. Like last night, I can't say I can't believe it. I believe it. That's how good the pitching has been. But I also know you're not going to hold every single team to 2 or less runs every single game moving forward. That is too much pressure to put on the pitching. The offense, for as good as this pitching is. I mean, it's like, in Cincinnati, it's the opposite of what we see with the Bengals. The Bengals can't stop anybody. But nobody could stop the Bengals offense. And the Reds, it's the opposite. They could stop everybody, but they cannot play. They cannot score. They cannot consistently drive runs in. That's a concern. That's a concern. And I feel I don't care that it's 4 games in because we're not 4 games in. We're 2 years in with this group. All right. Ellie's been around for years now. McClain's been around for years. Friedel's been around for years. Stevenson's been around for years. So I'm sorry that I can't get on board with everybody saying, wait till the end of April. Wait till the end of April. April of what? Next year? Yeah, I am being a little negative. I don't care. I'm happy they won, but I also know this team's not going to get to where they want to go, looking as stagnant as they have offensively, nonetheless. Either way. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. As far as the rest of Major League Baseball is concerned, standings 4 games in, right? 4 games in. We are, a series and some change in across Major League Baseball. How about the Blue Jays 3-1? The start over in the American League with the Yankees both tied, sitting atop the American League East. Rays and Orioles both 2-2, and then the Red Sox 1-3 down at the bottom. Maybe the Red Sox aren't good. How about the Guardians? All right, they continue not to spend. They continue not to invest into their team, but they continue to win. A 3-2 start. They've played a lot of games over, late at night. I have a bunch of friends who are Guardians fans, and they're angry because, they open up the season in L.A. and in Seattle, and a lot of these games have been later at night. And I actually think that's a solid gripe. I do think that's wrong. I do think the schedule makers for Major League Baseball, I didn't think about this, but I have a lot of friends who are Guardians fans. They've talked about how it hasn't felt like baseball season. It hasn't felt like opening day because, when you're playing the Dodgers and you're having to stay up till 10 o'clock at night to watch the Guardians games, it kind of, takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. Like, they should be able to schedule well enough to make sure that fan bases aren't having to stay up till 10 p.m. at night, their time, to watch their team on opening day. And it's the second straight series where they're playing a West Coast team. I don't like the Guardians, but I agree with you Guardians fans on that. I would be upset too if the Reds, imagine opening day. We're excited that the season's finally here, but we got to stay up till 10 o'clock at night to watch the Reds at the Dodgers. But either way, Guardians 3-2 atop the Central, 2-2 record for the Royals along with the Tigers. Twins 1-3, White Sox 1-3. In the American League West, the Rangers 3-1 start, sitting atop that division right there. The Astros and the Mariners both 3-2. 2-3 Angels record, in the Athletics are bad. Who would have thought? They're 0-4. 0-4. To the National League we go. The NL East. How about the Marlins, who are 3-1? The Reds have the Marlins coming up here in just a few weeks, right after they get done, of course, with this this Pirates series, but they have the Reds coming up around the corner. But yeah, the Marlins 3-1, along with the Mets and the Nationals and the Braves. The Phillies are 1-3, dead last in the East, but the other 4 teams all 3-1: Braves, Nationals, Mets, and Marlins. Nonetheless, in the NL West, the Dodgers, no surprise, 3-1, sitting atop the division. Diamondbacks, Rockies, Giants, and Padres, all 1-3. And then in the NL Central, the Reds and the Brewers tied for first, sitting atop the Central at 3-1. The Cardinals and the Cubs both 2-2. And there's the Pirates 1-3, possibly 1-4 after tonight, if they could pull that off. I know everyone loves standings updates 4 games in, but those are the games we're dealt. That's what we have to work with. That's what we have to analyze off of. When people tell me, Kenner, you got to give the Reds time, let it breathe a little bit. Wait a little bit. Then why even do a sports talk show? Why talk Reds at all? Because if we could get excited about the positives 4 games in, why can't I be concerned about some of the negatives 4 games in? Doesn't work that way. My guy Scott, loyal listener, loves Scott Campbell. He's in the chat right now. Probably mad at me. He's probably boiling right now. He's probably fuming. But Scott, how come when I was drooling over Sal Stewart's start to the season, you weren't saying, well, hold on, Kenner. All right, don't get too excited about Sal Stewart. They haven't even hit the road yet. You didn't say that. You didn't say when I was drooling over Sal Stewart, well, hold on, let's wait for that weather change. You didn't say let's wait till the end of April. I won't be excited about Sal Stewart till the end of April. That's not how you think. But when I'm pointing out the deficiencies, and there's a lot of them, now I have to wait for weather change. Now I have to wait till the end of April. Now I have to be told it's too early. It doesn't work that way, at least for me. If you could be praised 4 games in, you bet your ass you could be criticized 4 games in. And there's a lot of criticism to go around with a lot of guys in that lineup. TJ Friedel, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Tyler Stevenson. Yes, even Elly De La Cruz. There's a lot of underwhelming individuals in that lineup that need to step their game up. Scott says, I'm not mad at you. I'm just not overreacting. I'm not overreacting either. I'm not overreacting. If you're 2 for 14, that sucks. And that sucks whether you're 4 games in or whether it's in October. It don't matter. 2 for 14 sucks no matter what. 0-9, that kind of stinks. Tyler Stevenson stinks right now. Friedel stinks right now. These guys, there's too many guys that stink in this lineup right now. They need to get it together. I'm Justin Kenner. It's the Justin Kenner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Ohio did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
For some people, pain doesn't just hurt your body, it takes everything. That was Jay for 15 years.
I spent more time laying down in bed because even sitting on chairs hurt. I couldn't walk around, couldn't stand up straight. My pain got so bad, I was running out of hope, not just in treatment, but in life in general.
Then, just like you're doing right now, Jay heard a radio commercial right here in Dayton that led him to QC Kinetics and their regenerative treatments that go beyond masking pain.
Within an hour or two after the treatments, I felt like, 70% of what I was feeling was just sort of dissolved.
From surviving to living again. For Jay, that changed everything.
I'm able to do things. I get a chance to play with my grandkids. I'm physically not in that pain anymore because of QC Kinetics.
If you've been living in pain, this is your moment. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. The sound of a seatbelt. It's one of the most important sounds in our car. It means everyone is ready and everyone is safe. The more our kids see us put on our seatbelts, the more natural it is for them to put theirs on too. Make it a priority. Buckle up every time. Hear the sound? Make it a habit.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Gem City Water, we're a local veteran-owned company that offers affordable reverse osmosis systems and installs them for free. Get pure, great-tasting water right from your own town. Visit gemcitywater.com for more info.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for a clean and safe venue for your new grad celebration? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. Set the mood for your event with a state-of-the-art VIP experience in our private 8 lanes VIP suite. Booking now for spring and summer events. Let the good times roll at Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kings Ridge Drive, Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 98.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Hour number 2. It's the Justin Kinner Show. You just heard it. We're Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football, but also Dayton's radio home for Cincinnati Reds baseball. Game 2 between the Reds and the Pirates coming up later on tonight. Reds, if they win tonight, will win their second straight series to kick off the 2026 season. Not a bad start win-loss-wise, considering how bad this team has been offensively, but that's just how dominant the pitching has been. No Hunter Green, no Nick Lodolo. Ferguson, who was one of the big lefty bullpen additions they made in the offseason, he starts the season on the IL. So many key pieces missing from this pitching staff, but yet they just continue to roll out dominant start and bullpen performance night after night after night, and they'll look to keep it going tonight as they look for their second straight series win against the Pirates, Game 2, and then they'll close out the series tomorrow. There'll be no show tomorrow. The Reds and Pirates will play at 12:40, and that'll be first pitch, and that's a hell of a pitching matchup right there because you're going to get Paul Skeens going up against Andrew Abbott. All right, that's some good stuff right there. Man, if Hunter Green was healthy too, like think about that. Like if Hunter Green was healthy and started on opening day like he was intended to, based on the layout of this, Hunter Green would have gone up against Paul Skeens tomorrow. But how cool would that have been? That would have been a heck of a showdown right there. But yeah, the Reds look to win the series tonight. They can go for the sweep tomorrow if they win tonight, but nonetheless, that's kind of where we're at. As far as college basketball goes, don't want to get too far into some of the college basketball stuff, but again, a couple transfers, a couple portal updates. If you guys remember, obviously Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks were pretty phenomenal this season, but they've been hit by the transfer portal on a few occasions today. They lost a few key guys to the transfer portal. And one of those key pieces is Byers, who was unbelievable. And there were so many good pieces for the Red Hawks all season, but losing him is a big deal. Look, I think the fact that they're getting Travis Steele back is pretty significant. I think that's a big deal for obvious reasons. I really did compare Travis Steele at Miami. I did compare it similarly to what we saw years ago with Archie Miller at Dayton. I kept saying that, Archie Miller had all that success with that Kendall Pollard, Scoochie Smith, Kyle Davis group. Of course, you look at some of the pieces like Charles Cook when they, and when you look at the pieces that they added as a part of that run, multiple tournament appearances, multiple tournament runs, an Elite Eight, appearance. It was one of those things where if you are Archie Miller, your stock would have never been higher. So he had to leave Dayton. He had to leave Dayton. And the reason he had to leave Dayton is because if he left Dayton and it didn't work, you could always go back to coaching at the level of Dayton. And that's exactly what happened. He left Dayton. He went to Indiana, a blue blood. It didn't work out. So he ended up back at Rhode Island. That was my point all along. And that's my kind of point about Travis Steele, which is why I'm surprised that he didn't leave. You could leave Miami, go take a Power 4 job. If it doesn't work out, you're still going to be remembered for what you pulled off in Miami. You will get a head coaching job again. There are some coaches who the next job that they take, it has to work because you may not get a second chance. Archie was always going to get a second chance because it wasn't just one tournament run. It was multiple tournament runs. And that's how he ended up back in the A-10 at Rhode Island because, hey, we know there's something there. We've seen it. And that's the same thing with Travis Steele at this point. Travis Steele's in a little bit of a different spot than Archie because Archie got his breakout opportunity at Dayton. And if it didn't work out at Indiana, which it didn't, he would still get a second chance. It didn't work out at Xavier for Travis Steele. It didn't work out there. So if you stay at Miami, your stock will never be higher than what it is right now. Because you got to think, Travis Steele in Miami, next season, if Miami's good, and there's a very good chance they will be, they're not going to be 2025 good. They're not going to be 31-0. Think about how dominant Akron was last year. Think how dominant Akron was. Think about how dominant Akron has been the last couple of years. I mean, Akron has been the most consistent force in the MAC year in and year out. And yet, no one talked about Akron. Akron was never at the top of anyone's board as far as any kind of national conversation. I mean, you look at Akron this season. Akron went 29-6 and couldn't get national headlines. So let's just say Miami and Travis Steele goes 29-6 next year. They're not going to get in the top 25. They're not going to get in that large bid. They're still going to be in a position that they have to win their conference tournament to get in. That's what I mean by I'm surprised that Travis Steele did not take another job, because his stock will never be higher than what it is now. When Dayton had that season where in the 2020 season, when you had Grant, who was National Coach of the Year, you had Obi Toppin, the Flyers would have been a 1 seed, ranked number 3 in the country, right? Like we remember all that. I remember at that time, I said, that actually might work against the program. People said, hey, that was a great thing for the program. And I'm not saying it was horrible, but I said it was going to be bad for the program in the short term, because no matter what they did moving forward, good would never feel as good as that. If Dayton was good this year, but have you noticed since 2020, every time Dayton has been good, it just doesn't feel like it's good enough, because we are still so locked in on what they did in 2020. And that's what I feel like is happening with Miami moving forward. I feel like Miami, because if you look at it this year, Akron 29-6, Kent State was 24-10, by the way. That's a phenomenal year in the MAC. Akron 29-6, that's a phenomenal year in the MAC. Imagine next season Miami going 29-6, and it's going to feel not like you went 20. It's going to feel underwhelming, because you're not in the at-large conversation. You're not in the top 25 conversation. You're not the darling of college basketball like you were the year before. Travis Steele's stock will never be higher than what it was at the tail end of this season. So I do think it was a gamble to return to Miami next season. I think he could have left and he could have got a Power 4 job somewhere. Him coming back, even if they're good next. I mean, look what Gross did at Akron. He's at the college. He was at the College of Charleston now. After making the tournament, 4 of the last 5 years, 29-6 record. Gross couldn't even. I mean, some people believe that Gross made a lateral move. And that's what I fear is the case for Travis Steele, even if he goes 29-6 next year. I mean, Gross made it 4 of the 5 years or whatever it was, 29-6, and still couldn't get a Power 4 opportunity. So, yes, I do think he should have left after this season. I'm surprised that he didn't. It'll be interesting to see, what they look like moving forward, but they will never be. They're not going to be an at-large team. Miami's not going to go 31-0 again. They finished the season 32-2. They got a tournament win in the first 4 at UD Arena. But it was announced earlier today, by the way, that Miami's Brant Byers will enter the transfer portal, according to his agent. 6'8" forward. He started all 33 games last season and was, second team All-MAC after averaging 14 points per game. Byers was just deadly from 3. But that's a big loss for Miami nonetheless. Obviously, they're losing a lot of key pieces from that team. And that's kind of where we're at. Other college basketball news, I haven't come across anything as far as I'm concerned for Dayton. I haven't seen if anybody has entered the portal or not for Dayton. Obviously, you're losing some key pieces just to graduation and this, that, and the other, but haven't seen anything about any players entering the portal as far as how many holes that they're going to have to fill. Here in Dayton, though, yesterday it was announced, that Wright State, after winning the Horizon League regular season title, winning the conference tournament title, and having a 5-point lead and tied with 3-seed Virginia with 7 minutes to go, a dominant season for Wright State, probably the most successful season. I don't think that this is the best team Wright State's had. I think that 2020 Wright State team might have been, and I've heard this from more people at Wright State than before, just not a lot of people paid attention that year because Dayton was so damn good that year. That 2020 Wright State team might have been the most talented Wright State team that they've ever had, and that's coming from some of the people that are most well in the know when it comes to Wright State. This was probably the most successful Wright State team. When you look at what they did in the regular season, they were the first Wright State team to win the regular season and the conference tournament outright. To win the regular season outright and win the conference tournament. And you look at how they looked the part against Virginia. That wasn't Virginia playing poorly and Wright State capitalizing. Every time Virginia hit a big shot, Wright State countered with a big shot of their own because this is a very good group, a young group. And now the roster is about to be blown up. It was announced yesterday that Michael Cooper, true freshman, will enter the transfer portal according to his agents. And this is what I get a kick out of. And I like Michael. I have nothing against Michael Cooper. The kid delivered. 18 years old. You know, he won a state championship in Indiana the year before in his senior year of high school. And then a year later, he's leading Wright State, wins a state championship in high school, regular season championship with Wright State, a tournament championship with the Raiders. And then, of course, balls out in the NCAA tournament. The kid's a baller. I mean, the kid's unbelievable. There was a lot of talk. I mean, I remember because when we made the trip to Cal, calling the game with Chris Collins, I remember watching him go up against a Power 4 opponent in Cal. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this kid, hate to be negative, but he ain't going to be around much longer. He's not going to be a Raider after this season. And sure enough, but what I get a kick out of is his agents. How many agents do you need? Michael Cooper will enter the transfer portal. Agents Ethan Curry and Corey Markham of EZ Sports Group tell Field of 68. Like what? How many agents do you need? Michael Cooper, again, just beyond talented, 6'3" guard, averaged just under 14 points per game, shot 36% from three last season, and, of course, played a huge pivotal role in Wright State's success nonetheless. That's a big loss for Clint Sargent and Wright State, but I don't think that's the biggest loss. I think that the biggest loss they suffered yesterday was the TJ Birch one. TJ Birch is my favorite player with Wright State. I think that kid is unbelievable. I've tweeted out before that you don't go to games to watch guys play defense. You go to games to watch guys, with the, knockdown threes, highlight dunks, just the, you know what I mean? Like the highlight plays. He's one that I would kill to watch just play defense every single night. I mean, he is nonstop in your face. I mean, he was able to draw a technical against Virginia because he was just in the face of the point guard the entire time. But TJ Birch intends to enter the transfer portal. He told Field of 68. He averaged 12 points per game, 3.6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game. And he was named the Horizon League Defensive Player of the Year, first team all conference last year. He enters the portal. I love Michael Cooper, but I think it's a lot easier for mid-major teams to find guards like Michael Cooper than it is to find point guards, true leaders and that's not a shot, I promise, but it's so much tougher to find a guy like TJ Birch. So I think that's a major loss. The one win for Wright State yesterday, Kellen Pickett, TJ Birch was a second-year player, technically a first-year player because it was the first time he ever got real minutes because he sat the bench at Ball State. But, Michael Cooper was a true freshman. He's who everyone's looking at, but Kellen Pickett, the 6'9" kid for Wright State, he wins Horizon League Freshman of the Year. Love this story. He announced that he is coming back to Wright State. He wins conference, rookie of the freshman of the year. 7-footer, could easily go somewhere else and is staying loyal to Clint and is coming back for another season. I think that's great. As far as that's concerned. So we'll see what happens. But we'll keep an eye on Dayton. We'll keep an eye on Miami as that story continues to unfold. Again, they lost Brent Byers. That was announced earlier today. Toledo loses Sonny Wilson. Again, the second team All-MAC selection, averaged 17 points per game, just under 4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game, 38% from three. He's played his entire career at Toledo, and he'll have 1-2 more years of eligibility remaining. So that's a big player entering the transfer portal as we currently sit here right now. But Brant Byers, that was the biggest one of the day. As far as Ohio State is concerned, Jake Diebler and the Buckeyes, John Mobley Jr., likely to return. He put out a statement on social media earlier today saying something special is building at Ohio State, and I'm grateful to have been a part of it. After speaking with my family and Coach Diebler, I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to pursue another childhood dream of one day playing in the NBA. Today, I'm declaring for the NBA draft, but he will remain, he'll keep his eligibility and commitment to Ohio State. He's just going to go to the combine and all that fun stuff. So the Buckeyes could get him back moving forward. So, all right. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. We'll step away for a few moments and I want to talk some NFL when we come back. We'll be right back. More of the Justin Kinner Show next. It's about the Cleveland Browns, by the way. I got to make fun of Cleveland. If this was any other team, I mean, Cleveland just keeps making headlines at the owners' meetings for all the wrong reasons. All the coaches every year take a group picture at the owners' meetings, and all the head coaches in the NFL got together for a group picture. But there's one particular coach missing, and that was Todd Monken, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. His reason for why he missed the team photo? What are we doing? It's embarrassing. And if I'm going to bury and make fun of your team all the time, I guess I got to do it to my team. Todd Monken missed the team picture, or missed the coach's picture at the owners' meetings because, well, we'll discuss when we come back. What are we doing?
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast calling for a chance of showers and thunderstorms in 60 tonight, rain in 70 tomorrow, partly sunny, chance of a shower, 82 for Thursday. I'm Rick Schrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
At the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission, we help veterans and their dependents navigate the process of applying for benefits administered by the VA. We can assist with VA claims, pensions, and a variety of benefits, including emergency financial assistance, transportation, and legal services. If you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, a wide range of services may be available to you. Always at no cost to the veteran, we are honored and proud to serve all Miami Valley veterans. Contact us today at 937-225-4801.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded one new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for Mulch Madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about Mulch Madness or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
It's hard to describe the delicious flavor of Lee's new famous sauce paired with the 12-piece strip meal, but we figured we'd give it a shot. Imagine crispy, golden, fried to perfection chicken dunked in bold, peppery, beautifully balanced famous sauce. Every bite feels intentional, deeply satisfying, and impossible to forget. In other words, it's just the best there is. The 12-piece strip meal with new famous sauce. Only at Lee's. Famous for a reason.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Do you or someone you know need a driver's license? Sign up now to get your testing completed at our Moraine Auto Title location. Hi, I'm Shannon Crabtree from the Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office. Clerk Foley is proud to team up with the Ohio BMV to be a designated testing location, perfect for new drivers in southern Montgomery County. Schedule your driving skills test now on the Ohio BMV website. Choose a location at 5552 North Springboro Pike. Testing fees apply. We even have weekend hours to accommodate your busy schedule. Just another convenient service of your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Hi, this is Michael, your service manager at Dave Arbogast Buick GMC in Troy, Ohio. I am inviting you to give us an opportunity to earn your business. We have expanded our hours to better meet your needs. We are now open until 6 p.m. during the week and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. We service all makes and models. We offer convenient shuttle service as well as pickup and delivery. Please visit us on the web at arbogastbuickgmc.com or in person. Exit 69 on I-75. Look for the giant American flag. I hope to see you soon.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
Public education matters and attendance matters. Students who show up nearly every day to school can learn, grow, and thrive. But if they're not there, they miss important learning opportunities and can easily end up behind. Families must make their children's school attendance a priority, and educators must be strong partners to support that goal.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, so every year, the NFL does their annual coaches photo at the owners' meetings, of course. And if you notice, there's been a ton of media clips just from team owners and coaches, and because that's what's going on right now. But so it was noticed yesterday that they put up the team photo or the NFL's annual coaches photo on social media. So the NFL at their owners meeting, they put out the coaches photo, the coaches team photo, and fans started to, kind of comb through this photo for whatever reason. I mean, like, that's the thing that's funny about fans, and there's nothing wrong with this, but like, when the NFL put out the team photo of the coaches, I saw the team photo of the coaches, and I just kept scrolling because I saw a big group of people sitting together, and they said this is all the coaches in the NFL, and I took them at their word. But people started to notice that, hey, he was not in there. Todd Monken, the head coach of the Browns, said he was not in this team photo, which is a very weird thing. Like, where would he be? Where was he not at this meeting? Okay, again, it's not that controversial. It's really not that big a deal. But when people did chase down Todd Monken to find out why he was not in the NFL's annual coaches photo, it's because he was getting a haircut so that he could look good for the coach's photo. There you go. I got nothing. I really hope Todd Monken can coach. I know the dude knows football. And it's really not that big a deal. Like, if any other coach of any other team does this, I shouldn't say any other coach of any other team. Like, if the coach of the Jets did this, it would be embarrassing. If Zach Taylor for the Bengals did this, it would be embarrassing. Todd Monken doing it is embarrassing. If you are an embarrassingly run franchise like the Browns and Bengals and some of these other franchises are, you can't make those mistakes. But like, if Mike Vrabel missed the photo, all right, because he was out trying to sneak a haircut in before it, people would laugh it off, right? They would just laugh it off. If Harbaugh did it, either of the Harbaughs did it, it would be laughed off. But because it's Cleveland, to me, it's embarrassing. There are just some brands that can't overcome stupidity like this. And again, it's not stupid. It's really not that big of a deal. But because it's Cleveland, it just feels goofy. Like, there's a lot of people out there that feel like, you know what? Like, you know, if Mike Vrabel was out getting a haircut to look good for the team picture, pretty confident that the league would have probably said, well, we're going to hold off to allow Vrabel to get here for the team picture. Like, there's some people that believe it's like, oh, well, it's Cleveland and it's Monken, so whatever, we're taking this photo anyways. Like, I don't know about you, but my family is very, very big on family pictures. It's one of those that as I've gotten older, I've appreciated more. But as a kid, I would just roll my eyes and be like, come on, really? We got to do pictures? Now, luckily, I'm one of the people in my family that if I'm not available for a photo, we're going to wait until I get there. You know, at family get-togethers, hey, we're going to meet at, 2, but get there whenever. In family, some will get there at 2. You'll roll in later because you have other commitments throughout the day, on holidays and stuff. But like, hey, we want to do a family photo. Well, we can't do the family photo until so-and-so gets here. But then you got the weirdos in your family, right? And like that, hey, we can't do the photo until Kinner gets here, till Justin gets here. My family doesn't call me Kinner, so just so we're clear. But, we can't do the photo until Justin gets here. But I have some cousins. I have some friends. I have some people in the friends. I have some cousins. I have some family members that, hey, we're going to do this photo. Hey, but so-and-so's not here. Who cares? It's just so-and-so. Like, I feel like that's Todd Monken. Like I said, like, I don't know about your family, but my family, they're very big on family photos. And whether, we'll see each other at Thanksgiving, we got to get together for a family picture on Thanksgiving. 4 weeks later, Christmas, nothing's changed. I might be a little fatter between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but nothing's changed. We got to take a family picture. And I don't mean like immediate, I mean like the big family. Like, what are we doing? But you know what? I've appreciated it as I've gotten older. But I've always got a kick out of. I've learned that there's certain family members that, you can't take the family picture without. And then there's others well, they're not here. Who cares? We're taking this family picture anyways. That's Todd Monken. That's the Cleveland Browns. Oh, you know what? Hey, we cannot take this photo until Mike Vrabel is back, until John Harbaugh is back. Like Mike Tomlin, I know he's retired or whatever, but if Mike Tomlin was out getting a haircut, do you think that they take this group picture without Mike Tomlin? Hell no, they're going to wait. Hey, we can't take this picture. Mike Tomlin's not here. Andy Reid's out, getting a quick haircut real quick. Hey, it's time to take a picture. Hold on, we can't take it yet. Andy Reid's not here. Todd Monken, no, he's that weird cousin that nobody likes, that they're not waiting on him for the family picture. That's what happened here. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm a Browns fan, but I have no problem making fun of the Cleveland Browns because I think this is a ridiculous, silly story at the end of the day. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Okay. More Browns news, if you will. So last week, there was a lot of talk about potentially the Browns moving on and trading Myles Garrett. That's been discussed a lot. And I truly believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. Andrew Berry came out and said that, okay, Myles Garrett is a Cleveland Brown and that he's the face of the franchise and that he doesn't want to talk about this any further. Technically never said we are not going to trade Myles Garrett. Right? And then as people still are dissecting it, something new came out of the owner's mouth in the Haslams that has totally distracted everybody from this. I would not be surprised to see Myles Garrett moved because I think that the owner purposely is taking classes from Jerry Jones, purposely dropped something to distract everybody because the only thing people are talking about is what the Haslams had to say about the quarterback situation in Cleveland. And who could potentially be starting for the Cleveland Browns. That's the thing that everybody is talking about. And what I'm talking about is when Jimmy Haslam said that Deshaun Watson is most likely going to be the guy. Deshaun Watson is most likely going to be the guy. That's what has everybody talking and everybody freaked out in Cleveland as far as that's concerned. And you know what? I would like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. But it's not like I'm saying I'm not surprised in a way that a lot of people are. Like, for instance, so Mary Kay Cabot, she reported that Jimmy Haslam believes it's possible for Deshaun Watson to go from a swing and miss to a home run if he starts this year. And, on top of that, Todd Monken addressed the media and said that, that quarterback, that, QB1 snaps are not going to be distributed equally. So when you have the owner talking about a potential major comeback for Deshaun Watson, you have the coach saying that snaps will not be, separated, will not be handed out equally. You have to start to sit back and wonder, well, who's going to be QB1? Who is going to be viewed as QB1 heading into camp? Now, we haven't even got through the draft yet. Technically, it's still March for another couple of hours, right? But at the end of the day, you sit back and it's like, my goodness, Deshaun Watson being the quarterback in Cleveland is a very realistic possible outcome. How old is Deshaun Watson right now, actually? I don't even know. Let's type this in as we go. Deshaun Watson age. He is 30 years old right now. Deshaun Watson is 30 years old. He's born in 95. He's in his 10th season in the NFL and hasn't been relevant since 2020. That's not true. He hasn't been good since 2020. He's been very relevant to the NFL over the last couple of years, just not for the right reasons. You all know my view on the Deshaun Watson thing over the years. I still, to this day, semi-defend the move to go get Watson because nobody in their right mind thought that a quarterback who was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL back in 2020 was in his early 20s or in his mid-20s. No one in their right mind would think that an elite quarterback in the NFL in their mid-20s would just all of a sudden forget how to play football. And that's what happened with Deshaun Watson. I've never seen anything like it, and there's no precedent for it. You cannot find me one elite quarterback in their mid-20s that all of a sudden just fell off a cliff. Now, a lot of, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm ignoring a lot of the off-the-field stuff that led to his departure from Houston. I've said before, I don't need to put out disclaimers on this every single time. I think it goes without saying that I don't approve the stuff that he was caught up in off the field. I have no clue why we have to put off these disclaimers every single time we talk about Deshaun, just so a lot of horrible people that make horrible decisions in their own life try to act all sanctimonious and high and mighty and try to say, I can't believe you support someone like that. Let's run a comb through your life. I guarantee you're not so great either. Let's just be clear. And I'm not condoning your crappy way of living, and I'm not condoning his. I'm a sports talk host. I'm talking about a quarterback, and that's where I'm at when it comes to Deshaun Watson, as far as what Deshaun Watson could do on the field. The problem is I didn't know that Deshaun Watson was going to be as bad on the field as what he was as a person off. And you could be a bad person off the field. You could be a bad person off the ice. You could be a bad person off the court. Not my rules, your rules as fans. We as fans have always given a pass to bad humans if they're good at what they do. And Deshaun Watson's biggest problem is not his decision-making off the field, although I do believe it is. It's his biggest problem is that, well, all those accusations and he sucks on the field. Because if Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL like he was back in 2020, there would be a lot of people that just overlook it. But now Browns fans try to pretend to be morally appalled. This is where I'm going at Browns fans. Some of you are full of crap because you all did this thing back when the Browns got him years ago in the trade. Every one of you Browns fans were excited, and every one of you did the whole, well, listen, I'm not a fan of what he did off the field like I did. I'm not a fan of what he did off the field, but I know what he's capable of on the field. And if he's going to play in the NFL and he's going to play on, the NFL, if he can contribute for your team, then so be it. I don't care. When I watch a movie with an actor in it that doesn't think like I do or has different political beliefs as I do, I'm not condoning their political beliefs or whatever that they believe. I'm just watching a movie to be entertained. When I tune into the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback, I'm not sitting there saying, man, Justin's a Browns fan. He clearly condones what Deshaun Watson did. I condone you getting some mental help if that's actually how you think, because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. But my point is fans, not sports fans in general, have always been able to overlook the bad decisions that athletes make when they're not playing a particular sport. For instance, there is a particular guy in the news that is a very, very good driver in golf, but a very, very bad driver outside of golf, Mr. Tiger Woods, y'all. Tiger Woods is one of the most selfish human beings in the history of the world. Continuously on drugs, continuously under the influence, continuously drinking, continuously being dumb and selfish, getting behind the wheel, risking, I don't even care about his life, to be quite honest with you. If he wants to get behind the wheel multiple times drunk and under the influence on pills and he wants to wrap his car around a tree, at this point, do it, Tiger. I don't care, because you clearly don't either. What I care about is the fact that the guy constantly does not give a rip about innocent people on the road that he's lucky he hasn't harmed. But all of you golf morons out there love Tiger Woods. Oh, Tiger's great. Golf needs Tiger. Yeah, golf needs a guy that continuously is under the influence, continuously putting not just his life, which I don't care about anymore, but the life of everyone around him when he continuously selfishly gets behind the wheel under the influence. But you guys can overlook it. Why? Because he's Tiger freaking Woods, y'all. Michael Jordan has a huge gambling problem. We've always known that. But it's not a big deal because y'all like Michael Jordan and he's good at what he does. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan all of a sudden disappeared in big moments of games and wasn't Michael Jordan? All of a sudden, you guys would have a problem with his gambling problem, right? That's how you guys are. So spare me the sanctimonious, do-gooder routine. Y'all can kiss my fat white backside as far as I'm concerned. I don't condone Deshaun Watson. I don't condone anything he's done. Now, I have not done this disclaimer segment in a while, but I thought we were done with Deshaun Watson. It doesn't sound like we are. So I needed to break out the Deshaun Watson disclaimer segment just to remind you that you as a human are also full of crap, and you're not better than me, and you're not better than anybody who, you sit there and make excuses all the time for athletes that you like, despite the fact that they're crappy human beings off the field. And most time, I shouldn't say most athletes, but, really young, rich people don't make the best decisions. Athletes who are really young and really rich and aren't told no often, and they think they could do whatever they want. They make a lot of stupid decisions. Yeah, I promise you, you support athletes who are bums as well. Anyways, I'm veering way off track here. Way off track. But the point is I thought I was done with the Deshaun Watson conversation. I don't think that we are. I was okay with Cleveland making the decision they did years ago because no one thought that Deshaun was just going to go from a top 5 quarterback in the NFL in his mid-20s to looking like a guy that has no business playing in the NFL. And I want to know what happened. There has to be something left in there, right? He's only 30 years old. There has to be something. Now, that something is probably I could think of 45 million reasons why the Browns are sitting back saying there has to be something left in that tank. And if the quarterback battle is between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, I think this is a great thing for Cleveland, and here's why. One of two things is going to happen, and they're both good. You guys are thinking that this is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Deshaun Watson against Shedeur Sanders battling it out for the QB1 in Cleveland is a great thing. Because no matter who wins, here's what's going to happen. One of two things is going to happen. Deshaun wins, regains his form after sitting out all of last season because he was technically cleared. He was ready to come back in the middle of last season. The Browns just never added him to the practice squad, all that, whatever the legal, whatever that stuff is you have to do to kind of get them back to return and all that. The stuff that the Bengals did with Joe Burrow, in November to get him back earlier than we had anticipated. So the bottom line is he's still young. He's 30 years old. Missed last season to completely rehab, completely healthy, ready to go. Deshaun Watson could miraculously return to form, and Cleveland could extend him and lessen that cap hit, and now they have a very good quarterback with an elite defense, and Cleveland can start to contend. Or Deshaun Watson is as booty as he was before the injury, and Cleveland doesn't win a lot of football games, and now you're in position with an elite defense to go get an Arch Manning with Deshaun's money coming off the books. It's a win-win for Cleveland. I'm not freaking out. I'm fine if Deshaun Watson is the quarterback in Cleveland, because one of two things are going to happen. He's either really good and Cleveland makes the playoffs, or he's really bad and they're in position to get Arch Manning. I'm fine. I don't really care at this point. The Browns dug their grave. All right. They dug a hole. They're trying to dig themselves out of it. And the only shovel to get them out is the QB shovel. And if Deshaun is bad, that's good, because now you get Arch Manning. And if Deshaun is good, now you are good. Now you're in the playoffs with that defense, with that run game. They need some wide receivers now. Cleveland's a mess. I get it. I'm not here to defend him. It is what it is. Let's talk about the Reds. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410. Yes, I have not done the Deshaun Watson disclaimer in a while, but like I said, I thought I was done with Deshaun Watson. I didn't think I would ever have to talk about Deshaun Watson again. That does not seem to be the case. So I have to put that disclaimer out there, because a lot of you bozos that listen like to try to discredit everything I say and say, well, I'm done with Kinner. He clearly supports. No, I don't. I don't. I'm pretty sure you've watched a movie with a horrible person, with a horrible actor that makes bad decisions off the screen. Does that mean you support the boneheaded decisions that they make? No. Are you a Tiger Woods fan? Do you support drug use? Do you support DUIs? Do you support, getting behind the wheel and potentially being in position to kill innocent people? No, you don't. See, I don't think that because I'm not an idiot. You think that because, well, you might be an idiot. It's as simple as that. Sorry. We'll be right back.
When you see a Gravely mowing the grass, you're looking at over 100 years of ingenuity in action. You're seeing a rugged, durable machine professional lawn service companies have relied on for generations. Or maybe you see a homeowner who demands the best, cutting their own lawn like the pros, whether mowing or on a trailer between jobs. When you see a Gravely, you're seeing greatness at work. Take your lawn mowing up a notch with a Gravely. See the full line at your local